Breaking news, U.S. Iran reach historic deal to end conflict. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a major global development that could reshape the balance of power in the Middle East and send shockwaves through the world economy. In a stunning announcement, President Donald Trump has declared that the United States and Iran have reached what he calls a complete deal, a ceasefire agreement that may finally bring an end to escalating tensions between the two nations. This is not just another diplomatic statement. If confirmed and implemented, this deal could mark a turning point in one of the world's most volatile regions. Let's break down what we know so far. Fire first, the headline moment. The Strait of Hormuz, one of the most critical oil transit routes on the planet, is set to reopen. Now, why does this matter so much? Roughly 20% of the world's oil supply passes through this narrow waterway. Any disruption here sends global markets into panic. Prices surge, economies tremble, and geopolitical tensions rise. But today, there's a different tone. With the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, global oil shipments could resume at full capacity. Tankers that were once stalled may soon be moving again. Energy markets, which have been under pressure, could finally see relief. And that's not all. The United States is expected to lift its naval blockade in the region. This is a significant move. The presence of U.S. naval forces has been a key factor in the standoff. Removing that blockade signals a shift, from confrontation to cooperation. It sends a message to the world: diplomacy may be taking the lead. Fire another major point, sanctions. According to early reports, the United States may begin easing sanctions on Iran. These sanctions have heavily impacted Iran's economy for years, limiting its ability to export oil and participate in global trade. If lifted or relaxed, Iran could regain access to international markets, potentially boosting its economy and stabilizing internal conditions. But here's where things get complicated. Round pushpin. While the announcement sounds definitive, many critical details are still unclear. The deal is expected to be formally signed in Switzerland later this week. However, officials have not yet released the full terms of the agreement. And perhaps the biggest unresolved issue is Iran's nuclear program. This has long been the central point of tension between Iran and the United States, and also a major concern for other global powers. Will Iran scale back its nuclear ambitions? Will there be inspections? What guarantees are in place? At this stage, those questions remain unanswered. Globe showing Europe-Africa. Now let's talk about the global impact. If this deal holds, it could ease tensions across the Middle East, a region that has seen decades of conflict, proxy wars, and instability. Countries in the region, as well as major powers around the world, will be watching closely. Oil markets could stabilize. Shipping routes could normalize. And investors may regain confidence. But there's also caution. Because history has shown us that agreements like this can be fragile. Even today, reports indicated that military activity in the region, including strikes involving allied groups, could complicate the situation. So while the announcement is bold, the reality on the ground remains complex. That brings us to the big question. Is this truly the beginning of lasting peace, or just a temporary pause in a much larger conflict? For now, optimism is growing, but so is skepticism. Diplomatic breakthroughs often face challenges in implementation. Political pressure, regional rivalries, and internal interests can all influence what happens next. And yet, there is no denying the significance of this moment. A potential end to direct conflict between the United States and Iran would have been almost unimaginable just a short time ago. Now, it's being presented as reality. Backhand index pointing right. So what happens next? All eyes are on the upcoming signing in Switzerland. Global leaders, markets, and citizens alike are waiting for confirmation and clarity. Will the deal hold? Will it expand into broader negotiations? Could this lead to a new era of stability in the Middle East? Or will tensions resurface once the spotlight fades? One thing is certain, this story is far from over. Loudspeakers, stay with us as we continue to monitor this developing situation and bring you the latest updates from around the world. Because when it comes to global politics, every moment counts, and today may be one of the most important moments yet.